Hello friends, welcome back. My name's Naomi. If you're new here, today we're going to be canning, finally canning our Mexican chicken soup, or chicken Mexican soup I should say. And I also decided to can some chili. All of this would be pressure canned, and once again, if you don't know how to pressure can, please follow the guidance of those that know how to do it. I will show you how I do it. I do have a video about canning black beans that will be posted before this that you can see some tips and tricks, but I will also link some amazing canners down below just to make sure you're safe. So always keep safety in mind. So today we're going to make our soup and our chili, and I'm going to take you along with me. So thanks for being here. So the first thing we're going to do is prep our chicken to go in the oven. I like to roast my chicken with olive oil. Yes, I stab it to death. I feel like it cooks faster. Not sure if that's a thing. But I'm going to put olive oil on both sides, salt, pepper, garlic, and onion powder. It's just delicious this way. This is how I start the flavors in my soup. So I kind of just spread it around. Flip. Kind of let the oil go underneath so both sides get coated in oil. Just like that. Yep. And then I just put salt. Pretty good amount. Flip. Then I do black pepper. I'll do all the seasonings first. Running out of onion powder. Sad. Right. Onion powder. And then garlic. And then I flip it over and do this side. Garlic, onion, and then our pepper. We already did salt, so all right. And then I will get this into the oven at 350 and just bake till it is done. So first things first, I added ground beef to my pot. I'm gonna add a little bit of olive oil to the pot. Now I'm gonna get this on the stove and get this cooked up. This is for the chili. Next I'm gonna cut and crush up some garlic. I'm gonna do it for both the soup and for the chili, just because I need it for both. I love garlic. You should have already seen our garlic harvest. Once that's cured, I can start using some of that, which I'm super excited about. Love garlic. It's probably becoming obsessive. So I'm gonna get all this. I think that's good. Chopped and that one's weird. I'm gonna get this chopped and crushed with our garlic thing. I'm gonna set that aside, and I'm gonna start cutting up this huge onion. Like I said, half is for this recipe, half is for the soup. So I'm going to take about half of this onion and half this garlic and put it in the pot with my cooked ground beef. And actually, these are from my garden last year. They're frozen still. I'm gonna add these first into my pot. Yeah, so here's my ground beef. It's completely cooked. So I'm just gonna add half of my onion. It was a big old onion, which, like, I love onions, garlic. Give it to me all day. I'll eat it. And then I'm gonna cut open my green peppers and get those in here as well. All right, that's about half. Now I'm gonna dump in. It's frozen. It will be fine. It'll thaw. These are from, like I said, they're from my garden last year. And they haven't been sitting out very long, so. And then I'm gonna get a spoon, a little spoon, and add in about half of my garlic. Like that. And then I'm just gonna let this cook for a while. All right, so these are the rest of my ingredients. I have Italian seasoning I'm gonna add. These are the beans I canned. I have 2 cans of tomatoes I'm gonna add, diced tomatoes, and 2 cans of kidney beans. I like a very beany chili. And I'm also gonna add salt, pepper, onion, and garlic powder. So I'm gonna get these 3 cans of beans strained and rinsed, and then I'll add them in. As I said the seasonings, I was thinking, oh yeah, I make my own homemade chili seasoning. This is the recipe if you want to screenshot it. I like quadruple this, so I have some, and you can see I'm running a little low, but this is what I'll add, and then I'll taste to see, like I'll just season to taste, and I do and eventually add my Italian seasoning because I like the taste of it in the chili. So yeah, this is the recipe for my homemade chili seasoning, and I'm telling you, everybody that's ever had it is like, ooh, what do you use? What's different? And this is the only thing I really do different than everybody else. So if you'd like this, you could try making it yourself and see. Just let me know in the comments if you think it's delicious. We love it, and we think it's fantastic. Our chicken is done. It looks so good. I could just eat it the way it is. So I'm gonna get this guy put here while we make our chili. It's kind of why I started with chili. I want to let this cool, and then we're going to get this completely chopped up and shredded for our chicken Mexican soup. And I love to season this chicken really well. It's so good. So yeah, this is one of the first steps. All right, now you can see that like I said, the green peppers are just fine. They break up. Everything's cooked in here, ready to go. So now I'm gonna add, I do not drain my tomatoes, I just add them in. 2 cans of tomatoes. If I can get this one out. And then our 3 cans of strained beans. And this is all. I wished I had more tomatoes. I don't. Our tomatoes last year, I thought I canned enough. I didn't. I usually stew tomatoes or make diced tomatoes, and I did not make enough. So I'm gonna let this Ooh, maybe I'll add some, hold on. I might add some cans of tomatoes with chilies in them. I do have some of those. So I thought, since I have leftover chili or salsa from last year, I just opened this. I did can a lot of that. And I have these diced tomatoes with green chilies. I'll add this. I've never done that before. I've never added salsa to my chili, but I can't imagine it being really bad. So I'm gonna try to get this in here. Okay, sorry, I needed both hands. So I got the salsa and the tomatoes with the diced tomatoes with green chilies, and I'm just gonna stir that in. That'll help make it a little bit more, because I'm going to do these in pints. Like, I like my husband to have things that he can take to work. Like, we usually do leftovers for lunch, right? But sometimes we don't have leftovers. So these are fun things for him, and they don't need, just need to heat it up. So I'm gonna let this simmer a little bit, and then I'm gonna add the chili seasoning. Okay, so I ended up adding a second jar of salsa. The taste is really, really good. I got this up so it's warm. I don't want it to completely boil because it will scorch. So I'm going to add my chili seasoning to this now, and then some Italian seasoning. I am pretty hefty with the chili seasoning. That's why I said, oh, I'm almost out. I like a lot. And like I said, I'm just going to add and taste and add and taste. I don't really measure much when I make my chili. It's just, I don't know, it just comes from the heart. No, I like it to taste like I like it to taste. And how I know that my kids don't like chili. Boo. But my husband and I love it, so I just make it to our taste, and then we know we like it. And now I'm going to add a good amount of Italian seasoning. Stir. And then I'm just going to let this come, to a little simmer so I can see like the full potency of the flavors. And then I'll add and see what else it might need. So I just tasted this chili, and it's probably the best chili I've ever made. The salsa, it's free. It's just so good. So I added 2 quarts of salsa to this, and the diced can of tomatoes with the green chilies, and then 2 cans of regular diced tomatoes. It is so good. So I'm going to move this to my back burner and let this simmer, and I'm going to get my pressure canner ready. So I have my pressure canner on about medium heat. I added 10 cups of water to the bottom of my pressure canner. Once again, you don't want the water level to come above your top of your jars when you're pressure canning. So now I'm going to get my jars, rings, and lids completely clean and ready to go so that I can start canning. I got my pint jars in the bottom. What do I got in there? There's 9 of these. I put some water in the jars so they wouldn't float, and I'm letting them warm up in here. They've been washed in hot water. And I checked. I want to emphasize, you need to check your rims, like around the tops of these, and any imperfections, your lid won't seal. So always check your jars. Make sure there's no cracks or hairline cracks on the sides, because they have the potential of breaking in your pot, and it's such a mess. So always check your jars. So I'm going to let these warm up, and now I'm going to wash my lids and rings and get everything set up for canning. Okay, so I got my lids, my rings. I have my mats down. You don't want to set hot jars on cold surfaces, so when these jars of chili are done, I'll put them here. I got my jar grabber. I got a bowl of vinegar, my rag to wipe the rims, because you want to make sure the rims are very clean. My debubbler, I use chopstick, and I have my funnel. And then I'll grab my ladle and we'll start canning. So now I'm going to get these jars completely filled with our chili, and I'm going to leave about an inch headspace because this will bubble and there is some grease in this, so you don't want it to break the seal in your jar. So that's a good headspace right there. So our jars are filled. I do have some left over, but my husband has activities tonight for our church and he has to leave as soon as he gets home, like right after dinner. So I will save this for him. He can enjoy this delicious chili before he goes to work. And now I'm going to, first I'm going to debubble just to check. I just stirred around a little bit. Okay. Now I'm going to wipe with vinegar water all the rims. You want to make sure you get any grease or bits of food off of our jars. Done with that. Now we're gonna get our lids and rings on. Another tip is to check your underneath of your lids as well to make sure there's no gouges, because sometimes in manufacturing that does happen, and that also will prevent a jar from sealing, which will be sad because you spent a lot of time making this food and you want it to be, to turn out and keep. So now I'm gonna take these jars and get them into our water. It's not boiling, so you don't want it to be boiling yet. And like I said, the contents are hot, but you wanna get these jars in here. Okay. So I got all 9 jars in there, and I will show you what it looks like before I put my lid on. So here's all 9. It's a tight fit, but they fit. I'm going to get my lid on and turn my heat up so I can get this boiling, so I can let it the steam release for 10 minutes before putting my weight on my nozzle. Okay, so there's a steady stream of steam coming out, and this guy came up over here. So I'm going to set my timer for 10 minutes and let this steam for that long. Okay, there's 10 seconds left on this steaming. It's a good steam. See that there? So I'm gonna turn this timer off, and I'm gonna put my weight on this nozzle. I'm going to turn my heat down a smidge, and I'm going to let this come up to the 10 pounds of pressure for these these jars of chili. And because these are pints, you let it go for an hour and 15 minutes. If they were quarts, it would be an hour and a half. So I'll let this come up to pressure, and then I'll set my timer. All right, now we're at 10 pounds of pressure. I'm going to set my timer for an hour and 15 minutes. Oop, just like that. And you want it to stay at or slightly above 10. Like, I'm gonna have to adjust mine and turn it down some. You do not want it to go below 10. If it does go below 10, you'll have to start all over. So I'm gonna let this go for an hour and 15 minutes, and then I'll show you what I do next. Now I got my pressure canner going with my chili. I'm going to work on creating the chicken Mexican soup. Super easy. I have all the ingredients. You don't have to saute or do anything. You just literally dump everything in a pot and then you get going. So let's get to it. And our soup looks beautiful. I just turned it down to low. It's been cooking for a minute. So this is our chicken Mexican soup, and I'm just waiting for a pressure canner so I can add these guys to jars and get them pressured. I'm going to do this soup in quarts, which will have to go for an hour and a half. So it's been a long day of doing this, but it's so worth it to have these meals on my shelf. All right, the little knob went down. I'm going to remove this guy, and I'm going to let it sit till about 210, and then we'll remove our jars of chili from the pot. And while I wait, I'm going to get my other jars washed and ready to go for the delicious soup it's ready to go. So it's been 10 minutes. I'm going to take the lid off of our canner. And I'm going to take our chili out of this pot. So we got 9 pint jars of chili. I'm gonna let these rest till tomorrow. Don't touch anything. You don't need to take the rings off for 24 hours to make sure they all suck down and are shelf stable. And then I will show you now the Mexican chicken soup. And tomorrow when I take the rings off, I will wipe the jars down and I will label them. I'll just put chili and then 6/24 because it's still June, and I will get them on my shelf. I'm gonna do the same process. I'm gonna get my warm jars filled up with this soup and then wipe the rims, get lids and rings, and we'll be ready to go. Perfect. Just wipe my rims. Now I'm gonna get my lids and my rings on. Now I'm going to get these into the canner. We got 4 seconds left, and I'm going to put my weight again on my canner and let it come up to the 10 pounds of pressure. And we'll let this, because they're quarts, we'll let this go for an hour and a half, and then I will show you what it looks like when it's all done. Okay, so my soup is done. Turning the heat off again. Reminder, do not touch anything till it comes down to 0 and this little thing falls. Then you can release the weight, but then I still wait at least 10 minutes to take out my stuff, so I will show you what it looks like when it's all done. So our soup is done. I'm going to take the lid off, get the soup out, get it so we can get cooled off and see if these lids sealed. I'm pretty excited. It's been a long day of canning, but I just feel like this is so worth it. Just seeing the food that some of it I grew, go into jars and then onto your shelf, I think is pretty amazing. So here are the 7 quarts. You can see they're still bubbling of the chicken Mexican soup, the 9 quarts of the chili, and like I said, tomorrow I will take the rings off and I will wipe the jars down and see if any didn't seal, and I will get these marked and put on my shelf. I'm super excited about it. So yeah, having this kind of food on my shelves is a lifesaver. So I just want to thank you guys for being here. I had so much fun doing this. I am exhausted. I'm not going to lie and pretend like this isn't a lot of work, but it's healthy. I know exactly what went into each one of these jars, and I think that's a pretty powerful thing. My husband and I have lost a lot of weight over the course of the past year and a half, 2 years, and we credit a lot of it to cooking our own food and knowing what's the ingredients that are in our food. So hopefully this is encouraging to you and that you will try it yourself. We're grateful for you guys. If you like this video, please like. We are a very small, obviously, channel, and we'd love for you guys to be part of our family. So if you would like to subscribe, that would be amazing, and we will see you next time.